Since Trump took office, America has landed in January 2025, and the unrest in his country has not stopped. People's reactions on the decisions and laws enacted by Trump and his administration, they are always abnormal, violent, large borders, huge actions, not only in the world. I mean, we see the world in turmoil. It has problems in Denmark, with Greenland, with Canada, with Panama, with the Middle East, in Gaza, with Ukraine, with Russia, the European Union. China means problems in all directions. But his internal problems are perhaps greater than these external problems since June 7th, and the unrest in Los Angeles has not stopped. In large demonstrations developed into riots, roadblocks, tire burning, and major highways closing. And destruction of property. They started burning cars and burning in some stores, something that means street war. The first army, of course the police came down, and after that the army came down, the National Guard. Trump announced that he was heading to California and entered California and worked, which meant arresting some people, rioters in demonstrations, arrests. Trump is also threatening to send in Marines. Maybe he sent some of them, meaning he is saying that 500 to 700 US Navy Marines will go to this area to stop the unrest. What is the cause of the unrest? It was caused by the immigration law that Trump enacted, the immigration law to stop illegal immigrants, raids an area in downtown Los Angeles. The raids agitated the people of America themselves, not the ones who made the revolution or the ones who made unrest in the streets, not the illegal immigrants. The revolution involved individuals from the American people who live in Los Angeles or in California in general. It would have been possible for the matter to pass quietly if it were not in California. Specifically, California has a desire to secede. We can make a close circle to clarify the mechanisms or the realism of this idea. The idea of California separating from America, the issue for them is an issue. It is fundamental and pivotal that you see that when Trump does this, he is violating the privacy of the state, infringing on the independence of the state in some matters. California Governor Gavin Newsom, this man is a Democrat from the Democratic Party, and in general, California is considered one of the strongholds of Democrats in America, one of the places that always casts its votes for the Democratic Party, and therefore they view Trump as he is. The Republican Party competes with the Democratic Party in its home country. Does he cause problems? He deliberately creates problems in California and escalates matters. All of this in order to conquer the existing democratic system or the Democratic Party that exists in California. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, is one of Trump's worst enemies, and he declares this with the utmost clarity and frankness. Of course, this governor remains an elected representative in California, not appointed. Not appointing Trump or appointing the administration. American from above. For governors, governors shall be by election. He is elected by the people of California and therefore is the only one who will continue in office until the end of his term and can be re-elected again, even if he is not likely to compete with other Democrats. Therefore, he is speaking strongly against Trump, and he is very strong in the opposition, to the point that he is saying that he will sue Trump for sending the army to California without coordinating with him. This is what I mean by Gavin Newsom. Trump has no right to do it. And he says that Trump seems to be a dictator and that he has my own opinions that may lead to a dangerous escalation in California or in America in general. And he threatens that he may not pay me federal taxes. California does not pay federal taxes. For the American government, these are extremely dangerous escalations. Trump, in turn, commented on the events and said that California is run by an incompetent governor. He commented negatively on the governor very clearly and also said that the Also, the mayor of Los Angeles specifically is not enough. She is a woman who said that she is also not competent for this position. Of course, Kamala Harris, who was the one who was a candidate against Trump in the previous elections, took advantage of the issue, entered the line, and moved Trump. She said that immigration, which has been done by politics, leads to division in American society, and that it escalates escalations that may lead to disasters within America. She said very clearly that she supports Americans who defend their rights and political freedoms, even if she supports the objection that exists in California or in Los Angeles specifically. And she said that this protest is the basis of the U.S. Fundamentals of the struggle for justice. She said these protests are peaceful despite manifestations of violence, which are common in protests. Tires closing streets, and some policemen were assaulted in it, some policemen were injured in run-over accidents in these unrest or crisis. But she commented, what is the result of all this? If Trump's violent reaction to laws means that there are no longer sound laws or laws that are provocative to people, the problem has, of course, become legally complex. First, of course, the objection to the immigration law, basically, the law that Trump did. And secondly, the main objection remained for the people of California. On Trump, the result is that they object to the entry of the army into the issue, the entry of the federal force, America's federal force, into one of the American states. Do they say that some people are imaginary? In S, Trump has acted on two basic civil laws, including a law called civil disobedience in America, which came into effect in 1807. If an Asian civilian occurs in one of the states, the president may have the right to send the American army without returning to the governor of the state where the unrest occurred, meaning, and the last time they used this law in America was in 1992, and the law, by the way, was used in the hands of Los Angeles, and there was also a civil disobedience costume in Los Angeles, and the law was used in that case. And from then on, I did not use the law, but Trump did not say that. He did not say that this law told me to do it. No, it was Trump who said that I have, defiant employees. I mean, the employees are affiliated with the US government, not affiliated with the state. And the employees, the countries of immigration and customs employees, and the people who implement the immigration law, and that countries are at risk. And some federal facilities affiliated with the US government are not affiliated with California. That is, they are at risk, and therefore I sold this troops to protect. Employees are unwell and to protect federal facilities. Of course, people can hear the whole confusion. I mean, what does it mean? Federal installations, the United States Army and the Army, and at the same time, the power of California is separate. Because the truth is that people are not aware of the system. Government in America, the system of government in America is a somewhat strange system. It is not common in most countries of the world. Applied in some limited countries in the world, this system is a confederal system. What does this mean? I mean, they have it like there are 50 countries, 50 states working with some union into one big country, America, but each state has the right to make its own laws without conflict with the common law of the United States. Each state has its legislative system, its executive system, and its judicial system. Imagine that the state means its executive system. For example, they choose the governor of the state by election, and then they choose all the people of the entire state by election. It became like this. We have an executive force, and the legislative force is the state council. The state council has legislation specific to the laws of the state, and they have local municipal councils as well as internal affairs, and they have courts, which is the council, the judiciary. The judiciary also has local courts. All of this together has certain laws. This is in every state. After that, it combines all of this. One law combines all of this under federal rule or federal rule. In this country, there remains a president of the entire country who is Trump now. Will be a legislative council for the entire country, which is Congress. Congress has two parts, the House of Representatives of 435 members and the Senate of 100 members. Why does the Senate have 100 members? Because he has two hands for each state, regardless of the size of the state. But the council I have 435 deputies, which means I have N more deputies in states with larger populations. A total of 435 countries together make up Congress. Congress, David, has general legislation for all states, applied to all states, and also has federal judicial courts for all children. So I now have two systems of government in America, the system of general government, which is the one. This federal government takes general decisions specific to the entire country over each other. It takes foreign decisions. Foreign trade, such as with other countries, takes trade between states. He takes over the management of armies. The declaration of war, the stamp of money, means public decisions concerning, and of course in departments, in about 15 departments in America. America has fewer ministries than many other countries. They have 15 ministries compared to Egypt's 30, Algeria's 32, Morocco and England's 24, and Saudi Arabia's numerous ministries. Powers are given to the states, not the federal government, which is why the number is limited. In general, there are more ministries because they do more work. But in America, each state has its own system. That is why the number of ministries in America in general is small, because there are very many works that are done in the states. Of course, when you heard this, you expected that there could be very, very many legal problems for the conflict between the powers of the people. The state and the powers of the state, and on paper this talk may not exist, but on the ground, no, this talk exists a lot, and this causes problems, every little escalation, especially if it is a strong state. Strong means its income is strong, its financial income is strong, or its population is large, meaning like California, like Texas, like New York, there are many problems between them and the state. They prosecute the president and the president prosecutes them, and this process is in line with this. In this way, whatever happens, this naturally leads to a calm pace in dealing with the outside world because internal disturbances occur. We've seen escalations between the state and the president, such as the California issue, or conflicts between people like those involving Trump. All of these needs lead to the pace of people's preoccupation with the world decreasing, and they become preoccupied with themselves. And this is due to the grace of our Lord, glory be to Him, and His mercy on people, that He is preoccupied with the state itself. It does not become a huge force affecting the entire world, and this is the law of stampede.